History now is my passion. History makes me whole. I think it makes everyone whole. But when I was a kid, I hated history. It was called social studies. It was dry and boring, and it was flashcard history. And it used to be people like me would say, I hated history because there was no one in the history books who looked like me. While that was true, I also think had there been people in the history books who didn't look like me, who were interesting, I would have been interested in history. No one connected dots. No one, it was like, you must learn this, it was in the past, and that was the past. But no one ever helped me understand why the past was relevant in my present. And then, now I'm always reminding kids that MLK said, we are made by history. And Baldwin said, history is literally present in all that we do. What changed for me was writing history. I came into publishing as a writer for hire, doing projects that other people wanted, and I did this project and that project. And after I did Mama I Want to Sing, turning Vi Higginson's gospel musical into a young adult novel, that editor, Ann Wright, said, I'd like to do another book with you. And I said, well, what should I do? And she said, well, Jim Haskins did a book on One More River to Cross, about biographies of, I think, 10 or 12 Black Americans. She said, why don't you do a book of profiles of Black women? And, Jim Haskins was huge back then. And I said, well, why don't you want Jim Haskins to do it? She said, because you're a woman. You're a Black woman. And I did that book, which turned out to be A Not Afraid to Dare. And that was a real turning point for me because I wrote about Bethune, Charlotte Fortin Grimke, Mary Fields, Leontine Price, Mother Hale. And everything I wrote about, I learned in the writing, in the researching, in the doing. And it was like an epiphany when I said, my God, history is fascinating. Now, I had a hint of that a few years earlier when I was doing book reviews for Black Enterprise magazine. They only reviewed nonfiction. I'm reading about Adam Clayton Powell. I'm reading about the Civil War, by these great historians who could also write very well. And I said, oh my God, history is fascinating, and it's complicated. And there are things that happen in history that if someone wrote into fiction, you would say, oh, come on, that's not realistic. And so reading good nonfiction as an adult opened my eyes to how necessary history is. And what it did was it inspired me to want to give to young people what I never had, which is history coming alive, history engaging, history that not only gives you information, but also hopefully leaves you with questions, asking questions and wanting to know more and wondering about more.